Okay guys, here I am presenting another stove which I will give you some details for it. The purpose for this kind of stove is for it being with high capacity and longer duration for cooking. I will basically explain the innings and I will give some details also of what we have here. This is presumably a tuna can, which I have already painted a bit and made a cap here so that I can retrieve the remaining alcohol when I finish the cooking and so on. Okay, this is basically the same stove which I have done lately, the capillary hoop manner, but obviously this one is without a bottom, and as one can see we have also the jets here, which are 8 of them, and also regarding the creases, we got 16 of them. I will explain in brief. Also, the upper part here, okay, is made from the lid of these types of can, which are sealed off. There's a piece of aluminium here, and you know, these are for baby food mainly, but one can also adapt a piece of aluminium which is retrieved from a spray can, okay, and you can cut a piece of aluminium from here to make the top piece over there. Right. Okay, the top part and the creases are going to be formed from a small beer can the size of a Red Bull can, which is 53 millimeters in diameter, and I'm going to describe how one can mark it out and do the creases and everything. Okay, this is the way to mark out the full length, okay, of the crease part here, and the height from here to the marking of the pen is 43 millimeters, okay, and one will mark it all around and make the divisions accordingly. Here we have a divider here prepared so that we can divide the can in 16 divisions. Okay, we have the can divided here, okay, in 16 divisions, and we are going to cut it after this and make the creases. Okay, here's the way to cut on the line here. Okay, firstly you cut a little bit larger, and afterwards you cut off the right size with the scissors. Okay, here we're marking around 5 millimeters from the bottom after we cut the can. So that part will be the skirt and the frill, which is going to be inside the large can. Okay, now from the inside, okay, you take the very edge here and you score it around until you cut out the top with a scalpel or some kind of knife like I have over here. Alright. Okay, after it has been scored several times, okay, you can tear away slowly the scores and the cut will follow accordingly. Okay, here we are making the creases, okay, progressively. I'm using one hand here. I have to hold the camera. but that's basically what we are doing here. Okay, we got all the creases done now, and it's time to cut out the frill part. Okay. Okay, now it's time to fill the gap here with JB weld. Okay, so we have to fill here with JB weld so that it won't leak when we drill out the jets. Okay, you have to fill this gap I'm showing here. Okay, like the prototype we have here. Okay, it's already filled. This one is ready, and that's the way it should be filled. Okay, here we have the jets marked. Okay, so I have, due to having 16 divisions here, and we are going to have 8 jets, so I marked every other crease on top of here so that we have the markings where the jet holes are to be. Okay, this is where to drill the jets. Take an angle of approximately 30 degrees, okay, and pointing upwards in this manner. And you just drill from under the rim here. That is approximately the angle one should drill the jets here. Okay, taking the drill down, the chuck will approximately touches the can here, and drilling to an angle of around 30 degrees with a 0.8 millimeter drill. Okay, mark a height of 38 millimeter from the remaining can, and cut a sleeve from the can. Okay, now you cut to size with the scissors, okay, all the way around to create a sleeve from the remaining can. That is approximately how it is going to be fitted. Okay, now measure up the tuna can from the inside. Okay, and mine happened to be about 82 millimeters. Measure up the compass cutter to about 41 millimeters, okay, which is the radius for 82 millimeter diameter, and mark a circle on the aluminium here. So this is going to be the top part. Again, measure up 26 millimeter, which happen to be the radius for this. This is practically is about 52 to 53 millimeters. I would rather make it a millimeter less, and I will file it down accordingly so to make a tight fit here when I cut out the middle hole here. Okay, which is going to be the lid, alright, which is going to fit here. Okay, those are the markings clearly shown there, and now we need to cut the middle hole, and afterwards we cut the outer hole with the scissors, or maybe, well, this is not very tough, being aluminium. It's very easily cut with the scissors. One other thing I'd like to mention here is that I made my sleeve here, okay, from a normal spray can, which is also 53 millimeter diameter, and the reason for this is that this type of can offers more rigidness to the construction, and it is more preferred to do it this way, having a sleeve here made from the spray can here. Okay, I'm showing. Now when you have the ring cut, you can easily fit it here in place, okay, and it would readily fit in the tuna can. One can take the measurement by putting the assembly all together, pressing it down until it reaches the bottom, and there you have the exact height of the assembly here. Also, when you find the right height here, you have to put JB weld here to fix it, and also some JB weld also must be done when fitting the sleeve with the crease part here to seal off the edge, okay, so it won't leak between the two assembly points here. Okay, that's basically how the stove is constructed. As I mentioned before, I also made a cap here which I can unscrew, and this is basically a bolt, a 6mm bolt here, okay, which I have turned up a bit with my small lathe, and also I fitted a nut here with a hole and soldered it in place. This being made of tin or iron, whatever, it can easily be soldered there. Otherwise, if you don't have solder at hand, you can fix it with JB weld as well. Okay, and there is also a small hole which has to be drilled here for bleeding purposes, so there won't be any pressure build-up during operation. There we are showing the small hole there which is drilled. It's basically about a 1/4 inch from underneath, roughly about 5 to 6 millimeters down. Okay, now I have the rim filled up with JB weld here, and it's time to insert this in place. There it goes. Now we need to put a small weight on it so that it will keep everything in place. Putting carrying here, and I'm adding also a piece of steel, so I put some weight on it until it drives off. Okay guys, here I'm presenting my new stove here, which is a high capacity one. The pot stand here is detectable and it's made of steel, and this is basically what is the result. This cap here is optional. I made it so I can retrieve the remaining alcohol, though this kind of stove being a high capacity one, and I can retrieve the alcohol back and put it back in the bottle if I don't use it all at the same time. These rings here serve to control the flame. This one gives me a middle flame, and this one will give me a low flame. The capacity of the stove, which is basically made from a tuna can and a piece of aluminium, and also a beer can here without a bottom. The capacity of the stove is about 3 ounces, and I will demonstrate it and make a burn test for you. Okay, we have 2 ounces of fuel here in the measure. This weighs up 260 ml here, which I'm going to pour in the stove. And as one can see, it's got also room for another ounce, but the more fuel it has, the longer it takes for it to start up in the beginning. The preheating time will be longer, but 2 ounces for this test will suffice. Until it heats up a bit, we have 40 ml of fuel, of water, 400 ml, sorry, and the stove has already primed up. We're going to put the water in here. Let it heat a bit more gradually. There we have the boil test. But before that, I would like to demonstrate the flame control here. Okay, we're going to put the simmer ring here. You heat it up just a little bit before inserting it, and the flame will slow down. The other lid here I use when the fuel gets a bit low and the stove heats up a bit more. You can have further control to slow down the flame. Right, so now we're going to make a boil test. One moment. There we are. You see the beautiful tornado flame there we've got? And we can put our kettle on so we can see the time. Stopwatch there. Okay, I took the time for the boil. Has a very strong flame, as one can see. And this the kind of stove gives you ample time to cook on, and removes the hassle of adding fuel every time, and so on and so forth. Also, one can control the flames during cooking. One can notice the flames are licking the kettle here as well. They are very strong. Now we got about 1.5 minutes now. No, 1 minute 20 seconds. Let's see how much it takes for it to boil the water. Mind you, I use tap water here, and the temperature is about 20 degrees or so. We're still not experiencing cold weather here in Malta, so the water temperature isn't that cold over here yet. Okay, the kettle is steaming already, and it's around 3.5 minutes for the boil. One can take a look now. One can see the boil over there. I put the camera back. Okay, I'm going to put the simmer rings again. There we are. One can see the flame slowing down now. When the stove has completely warmed up, one can notice the effect of the simmer rings. I have another one here which I can put on top of it to close the hole completely, and there we have a further simmering effect. We are a very small flame there for slow cooking or something of the sort. Anyway, I hope you liked it. I'm removing the flame goes a bit higher here again, and even further when removing the other simmering. Okay guys, I hope you liked the video. By the way, one wishes to switch off the stove. You just simply put the lid on, let the flames slow down, and one can give it a sharp blow and it will extinguish itself like this. There we are. We still have a lot of fuel in the stove here, and one can retrieve it back from the filler cup. Thank you for watching.